Okay, welcome students to the web design and development another lesson. So we have been practicing CSS cascading style sheets. We have been practicing. So in the previous session also we have practiced up to a certain extent, right? So today we have uh, some new parts coming up, and we're going to continue from where we have left last week. So today I'm going to mainly focus on doing how to do this, how to work with pseudo classes we're going to learn. So you will be able to take control of certain things, right? And you'll be able to work with them nicely, especially with HTML links. You will be able to customize them nicely. I think we have already done that one with the navigation bar, but today we will be actually looking into that. What do you mean by the pseudo classes? Not only that, we will be learning something called first child, last child, and there is another option called nth child. So specifically, you can count something and you can work on it. So that is really useful. There are the other pseudo classes like before, after, right, and image like. So those kind of things we're going to learn. Once that part is finished, last class I think we have learned about dimensions also. Last class means, so I'm referring to the previous sessions. We have learned about dimensions. When we specifically say about dimensions, we are specifying like the width and the height part. So those things we have learned, and apart from that, we learned how the positioning part is working. So we have fixed, absolute, static, and scroll. So we learned them with examples separately. Okay, so those parts we have learned. Apart from this pseudo classes that we're going to learn today, we need to learn about floats as well. Floating in the sense aligning, or you can pushing components to left or right side and making use of the space which is left in the sense remaining to the components, how we can make use of that one. So by learning those things, or by using those things, you will be able to uh, take control of the layout designing part. So this part, once we come to that section, we can start building a sample template, like or a full web page layout we can build without wasting too much time in designing. We can focus on the areas what we have to put in the website. We can work on that. That is possible for us to do. Okay, so that's the basic lesson plan that we're going to do. And I think as I just reminded what you have learned in the previous part as well. So without further delay, let's get started then. Okay, I'm going to start with pseudo classes. So I'm starting a new chapter, chapter 12, CH12, creating a regular web page inside them, demo1.html, and I'll add some just regular HTML. In this page, I'm going to create just some HTML links. Okay, so let's give some links like this. Right, so we have given just some links. I didn't give the original URL here. Now let's start the code. For one, we will give the um, term. we're going to work with pseudo classes. Pseudo classes in the sense, for example, if you have a paragraph here, in the paragraph you have text also, no worries. You can give, usually if you want to refer to this paragraph, let's say I have two paragraphs here. So this is the first para. This is the first para and this is the second para. It just says like this. Inside here, if I give class equals, I'm going to type first para. That's all I'm going to give, right? I'm going to give like that. Now I have specifically given a name for this particular uh, paragraph tag, right? So here I'm going to use, when I want to refer to that, I can use p dot first para like this. I can use, then I can write the code, right? So this is not pseudo class method, right? Pseudo class method is not this one, right? Pseudo class means, now here we have explicitly given the class value, right? Okay, so when you want to refer to this h tags, see, so a tags, anchor tags, you can see only the attribute href is there, nothing else is there inside the tag. Then when you want to work with them, there are classes, there are like built-in classes, like, so where specifically, or you don't have to give names for them, right? So like, watch this. Now when you say a refers to the links, right? So if you type visibility hidden, right, and if you go to the web page, then we have a folder here. I'll increase the zoom. So I will open this one. There you can see this part is just appearing. There are no links here. There are no links because I have added a code like that. Visibility hidden I have put. Now if I put the code, it is back again. It is visible. Now, um, when I want to, that is, it is working for the all the tags, right? Anchor tags, it's working. Now, when you want to work with them, there are 4 pseudo classes, right? So 4 pseudo classes. So I think you can refer this word. It's easy to remember. Love ha, right? So you can remember like this. There's an order that we remember the pseudo classes. Like I taught you once, trouble to remember top right, bottom left. So you can use this word. So this refers to the pseudo classes. I'll put in capitals easy. Link, visited. That's the order that we give. Link, visited. Then we say uh, who were. Finally, you have active. These are the pseudo classes which are basically available with what do you call the link. That means with the anchor tag, right? Okay. Now what we're going to do is when you want to refer to them, you're going to refer a. When you refer a pseudo class, you use the colon like this, right? You use the colon like this. Then what you do is you give the pseudo class. What you are typing there is a pseudo class. Link is a pseudo class, right? Then visited links and the normal links in your website or web page should look same, right? So you don't want to give it a different look like this. Now see, since we have gone to this one, Google, there's a G missing. Um, it is appearing in purple color because it's a visited link. We can get rid of that by, you put a comma, we can group the selectors. Again, we can write a visited. Okay, visited. These two together we can write. I will just change the color. we will change the color to green. Links are appearing in color green, right? Font family also will say sans serif. So the links are appearing like this. So whether they are link or visited links, they are appearing like in green color, right? And let's say I don't like the underline text decoration. Let's put none. So in that case, the underline will be gone. So we have discussed two pseudo classes, link and visited. The other one is a hover, which means once the mouse pointer comes over the link, how it should appear. So once the mouse pointer comes over, I like to change the color to red, right? I'm not going to do much. I'm just explaining you the concept. So let's try to understand with this part only, right? So that is about hover. So once I reload this, you can see if the mouse pointer comes over, the color is changing. As well, I like an underline to appear there. So once the mouse pointer comes over, you can see color changes as well as there's a underline coming. Final one, active. Active in the sense, by the time you click and hold the link, click and hold the anchor tag, right? So the URL, it can be changed like this. Um, how do we say, like, we will put that to color yellow, okay? So if I click and hold, then it changes to yellow. So if I click that moment, it changes to yellow color, then it goes to the website, okay? That it works. So that is basically the with the HTML links, the four pseudo classes, right? For those are the main four pseudo classes that you have in what do you call uh, with links. Okay, now I'm going to show you one more important part, which is which is called first child, last child, and nth child. So I'll practically show you how it is useful. Okay, right. All right. Let's take a new file, right? So here I will create demo2.html, regular HTML I'm creating there. Inside this one, all of you know what a div. Div is a surrounding tag basically. It's a container like inside which you can put other multiple HTML tags and you can nicely build your web pages. So we're going to continuously use div tags and we're going to work, especially when you're working with Bootstrap also, it is going to extensively, it's going to use div tags. So it's not going to be a very new thing for us. So let's make use of this one. Now, in this one, so this dudes, it's not a big deal, right? Yeah, I want to build something like this and show you. Let's build something like this first. Let's call this one as container. Okay, container. So without much wasting time, I'm just showing you this one, right? So but with one, this one I'm going to show you, right? So we'll make use of this one, right? Inside this container class, we're going to have three paragraphs, okay? Right. So three paragraphs we're going to have. Right. That'll do. Right. Let's take a look at it, how it looks in the browser. So I'll zoom it out. This is the original size, how it looks. Right. Now we're going to make use of something like, right. Each paragraph is not given any names or any classes. Okay. If you like, I can give a class for that one as well, right? So uh, with the class I can do, without the class also we can do. Without the class, we will see how we can do first, right? Okay. Right, let's try this style. First of all, I'm going to write div dot container. I'm going to write a particular width for that, right? Let's say 960px, 960px, right? You know, we learned about margins, right? We learned about margins. I'm not quite aware whether I showed you this how to do, but watch this. When you say margin, the left margin we can set, okay? And I'll set a background color so you can see that. Um, let's put a light gray color. So it's visible. That is 960 pixels because I have 1920 pixels is my total resolution here the across. So here it is displaying like this. This is the container that I have added now. What I want to do now is I want to make it center aligned, right? I want to make it center aligned, right? Let's get rid of the bodies, margins and paddings, right? So especially the margin, right? Let's give 0 for all the margins. So body's default margins are gone now. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make this one center align exactly. So there is one way you can do. My total resolution is 1920 minus 960. I can type. That means this one is taking 960. So if I press enter key, another 960 is remaining. So I can divide that by 2, and that is 480. So if I give here, it's a simple math I did. You can say left, so not margin left if I give 480, I guess. So once you reload, that will be in exactly in the center. This is, you have to do the calculation and do it now, but I'm going to reduce the resolution. Let's say this is the resolution now, or this is the resolution now. Now I want it to exactly at the center, right? So let's see how we can fix that. To do that, you don't give like that. You just give margin auto. When you say margin auto, both sides, it automatically takes equal amount of margin. See, when it's changing, it is nicely being at the center, right? So this is actually not responsive designing. 960 pixels is fixed, but responsive designing, we will do it with Bootstrap, not here, right? Okay, so I hope you got an idea now. That is margin auto, right? Now the next part we're going to do is the paragraphs we will give. So it is inside div dot container paragraphs. So for all the paragraphs, I can give some kind of settings. Let's give all of them some dimension. Width, let's give 300 pixels width. Okay, I'll put a background color so it's much visible. It's a very light color, right? So you can see all the divs are not, by default they are not inline elements, they are blocked elements. So that is why one upon one it is stacking downwards. If you want to make them come to this side, you have to make the display change actually. There are other things also you have to do, right? So we will only with the display we will try to control display inline block. I'm going to give inline block. So they are coming like this, right? Okay. Um, Now the problem is there is a small gap here. That gap you can't fix it without working with the floats. If you use the floats, only this small gap, this tiny gap you can get rid of. Okay, right. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to now each one, which means each paragraph is 300 pixels. So total with this 960 pixels. So each one is taking 300 pixels. So 900 pixels gone from here to here. If the calculations are correct, 60 pixels should be left. Okay. So I want, I want in between these, watch carefully, in between these two paragraphs, I want a 30 pixels gap or a margin. In between the second and the third, I want a 30 pixels margin. Okay. In which, so 30 pixels here, 30 pixels here, totally it will be adding up to 60 pixels. So from here to here, entire 960 pixels will be utilized. So here this paragraph will come to the edge of this part, there will be nothing will be left here, so it will look evenly placed. We'll try that one, how to do it. So we're going to say for every now we have all the margins there. So there's a problem, that's why. So I'm going to say margin dash right side. Okay, margin right, I'm going to give 30 pixels. So this is going to apply for all the three paragraphs. I have three paragraphs. So when it applies 30, 30, 30, which makes the count to how much? 90 pixels. So definitely the last one will go down here. Watch. So that's coming down here. We don't want that to happen. Okay, we want to apply only for these two, right? Okay. What we can do is we can override this setting by, now for all the paragraphs we can just give like this. Then we can say, you can put like this, the command like this. That is also pseudo class. No one has written class equals last child, no. So we can, so we will see whether it is working. Visibility hidden. So if I run this and if I reload, if this is getting hidden, then that is getting targeted. That is getting targeted, right? Okay. So what we're going to do is, we will write like this: margin right 0px. So for that we are removing. Problem is still it's not going there. Still it's not going there because when we just change the display property to inline block, there is a small gap coming. Okay, let's try. Let's try this one. At least it's working. It's not working. So there is a property that you have to do something called float left. This is our next lesson. Then it will nicely fit. Okay. Now you can see it is nicely fitting inside the component, which is our container. So all the three components are nicely coming, but you can see background color is gone. There's a reason, but you can see evenly spaced. Okay. Um, so if you just give overflow hidden, that will appear. That's a small workaround for to get the background color again. Now you can see there's not even a single pixel I'm wasting. So exactly to this side and exactly to this side. Let's end the paragraph. We can do a little bit of a thing, right? So box sizing, border box we will give. Then we will give padding. We will give like that. So it looks bit pretty. So it's nicely, it will come inside. All these stuff we have learned. So if you take a look at it, it looks something like this. And of course we can do, now see, that's how it looks. So it gives that column look, it nicely gives. So we can practice this one, right? So hope you understood this part. Our main lesson was this one. When you just say paragraph and when you just apply the settings, it applies to all the paragraphs. But if you want to specifically target the last child, that is what I did, right? Okay, now this is the property that we did. So let's practice this one with using like this another one. So without saying last child, you can give first child also. First child. Here I can give, then we are targeting the very first element. It should be a paragraph element and it should be appearing inside the div container. Um, um, yeah, parent. What we could give is, let's give the background color, we will change, right? So let's change the background color to orange. So that is perfectly working. So first child we can target. So first child, last child, I explained you. And the last one I'm going to show you is the nth child. Nth means the number you can count. Now, for example, with the nth child also, you can control this one. If you exactly know the third element, so you can say uh, th child, nth, um, nth child, you give 2. Nth child, you get 2 in the sense the second one we are referring. So we will say visibility hidden. So we can hide the second paragraph. We can hide the second paragraph. So the second paragraph is I have said it to what do you call opacity. I have reduced it, right? So now we learned.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, Pata, tell me.
Sir, I can't hear, sir.
I'm not speaking. That's why you can't hear. Now can you hear me? Hello, others. Can you speak, children? Can you hear me?
Can hear.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
yeah, yeah.
Sir, can hear, sir.
Check. Can you type in the chat window? We can hear. Please check, Abdullah. Please type a message. He has a problem, I guess. So did you see that? Once the mouse pointer comes, it changes like that, right? So that is another small property just I wanted to show you. This we already learned, okay, Hua. So by default, I'm just setting the opacity to 30%. Transition all means the transition means, in slides, one slide finishes the other slide. When it is coming, you can give different effects. Here this fade in fade out you can do. So 0.5 s means half a second, that's what it means. So there's a small, once the mouse pointer comes only, it is more visible. Like it is good for a gallery or something like this, where the mouse pointer comes over, the attention is there, all the others are just dimmed out. You can do that, right? Or you can make it very, very less visible like that. See, okay. So let's say very, that is 5%. See, that's visible, right? Okay, I'll keep it around 30%, right? Okay, so hope you understand what is mean by the nth child. Also, I'll just recap that what I have done for you, right? We had a main div tag. Inside that one we had 3 paragraphs. So we wanted to give 300 pixels of width for each um, paragraph. So what happened was, when we gave 300, 300, 300, 900 pixels gone, 60 pixels were remaining. So for the first and the second paragraphs, we want right side margin to be 30, 30. So total 960 is taken up. 960 is taken up. But the problem is, when we were trying to give the right side margins, we could set for every paragraph right side margin, uh, how much? 30, 30 pixels. So the last one, this paragraph also got that one. So it made the total width of the elements to 990 pixels. So it took this one down. So we overcame that one by changing the display property to display inline, and we used a special property called float, and we set it to left. Next lesson I'm going to show you how what is float. So it is nicely coming, and adjacently they are sitting one next to other. After that, what we did was I used a property called nth child. That is the no, not the nth child. We used a property called last child. So this is the syntax how we use. So this is the parent you give, where the parent. Then you use a is greater than sign. Then the tag, what type of a tag it is, or what type of a selector that you're going to select. Then you use colon. Then you use the last child pseudo class, and here you can give the settings. I'm only working with the margin, so I'm using margin. Then first child also, that first child, last child, those are the built into what do you call two built-in pseudo classes. The last built-in pseudo class there is called nth child. So if you have 6, 7, 8, 9 things, so if you want to exactly target the fifth one, so you can type here just 5. Or if you want to exactly target the 11th one, you can type 11 here. That is also possible. So this is possible for you to do, right? So this is what is about the lesson. First child, last child, and nth child. I will give you this code into you. Hope I can give you everything. Then you can practice. Okay, let's take a look at um, another pseudo class. So we can make use of the same HTML code that we built, where we have one div tag. Under that, we have 3 paragraphs. Previously worked with the other 3 pseudo classes: last child, first child, and nth child. Now each paragraph's first line. Okay, if you want the first line, we can format that, right? So we say div dot container. Inside that paragraph, say first line. Okay, so first line, let's change that to save time. I'm just changing the color of the text. So you can see now, first line of all the paragraphs, first line, okay, that will be in red color. So if you want that in bold, that's also possible for you to do, right? So it's red and bold. That is possible. So this is okay. You can make use of this one if you wish. First line is one property. There's another property that you can do, which is first letter. This is really useful. First letter, right? So you can use font size, a large size. You can use, let's say that should be 3 times bigger than the original one. So you give, so that will be 3 times bigger than the normal one. Okay. Or if you want more, you can do that. So you can create things like that. That is possible. Okay. First letter is there. So first letter, first line that we have, right? So that is with text, main part is that first line, first letter. Yes. Okay. So we'll practice those two as well, right? I'm not going to give you the code. In this part, what I did is I just created a default HTML page, right? You can see it has one heading. It has another heading here, one and two headings, H1 heading and H2 headings. And apart from that, I have created a folder called images. Inside that, I have a image, which is my bullet.png, which we have already used in a previous project. I just copied and pasted there. So when you're practicing, you need to have that set up, which means you have to create a folder called images. Inside that, you have to have an image called my bullet.png. In my case, I'm using that one. You are free to use any other image that you like. Okay. So now the pseudo class that we're going to discuss is um, before and after, right? So we can use like this. And so we're going to use H1 you can use before, right? So you can use before, then you do like this, right? So give the open close curly braces, then you give content, right? Content, you say URL, then you can give the image path, right? So we'll say images slash my underscore bullet dot png, right? So when you reload this, there are two colons came, don't know whether it's right, we will see. Yeah, you can see that. Yeah, actually there should be two colons should be coming, right? Let's close that and see whether it's working. Right, before is the pseudo class that I'm using. So before it is coming, you can put an image if you like for all the headings that you're adding. If you want to put a thumbs up or something like that, or all the positive headings you want to put a thumbs up, and for the other ones you want to put a thumbs down, likewise you can use it. Let's try that one with after also. Just like before, you can use the after pseudo class as well, in which at the end of the component you can display something as well, right? So when you're doing your application development in the next semester, if you're taking, for example, if you're taking some comments from the database, or user uh, feedback like thumbs up, thumbs down, like, so after next in front of a comment you can give a thumbs up comment or a thumbs down comment. That's also possible, right? So these two code also you can start practicing. So you need to create a page, a simple web page with two headings like this, and these two lines you can practice. I'm going to keep this screen, everything in the screen. You can start practicing it now. What we're going to do is we're going to work with some images. Let's say we're going to work with the border radius. One thing we will work with that, and mainly we will work with the images opacity, which means the transparency. We will see this will be useful sometimes when you're building a product page or a gallery like thing. When you're building, you can make use of this effect if you like. Okay, right? So don't overuse these things, but these things will give you some kind of drawing the viewers attraction or the attention towards the content that you are showing. For that purpose only I'm showing you this, right? Okay, let's see how it's done. So this is what I did right inside the chapter images. So I just copied and pasted images four images, right? So apart from that, the all images are from Pixabay website, so all of them are copyright free images. Then I'm coming to my web page, right? So this project under chapter 12, I'll create a new file, right? We will call this one as demo4.html. A regular page we will build, okay? Right, so we can nicely do this one, okay? Um, we will have a div tag if you want, right? So we will call this one as add underscore box, advertisement box, right? So let's call this one as end of add box, right? So inside this one, right? So inside this one, we're not going to do much. We're going to have the images displayed, right? So img, src, everything going to come, right? So let's give img images slash student dot one dot jpeg. So that's going to be duplicated 4 times because we have 4 students images, right? Hope that will be do the work. Then let's check without the css how it looks in the web page. So this is the one we're going to hit this. uh, Images are png ones. um, 1 2 3 4 student one. Oh, can you see that's coming and going, right? There is something wrong with them. So there was something wrong with my browser. So it started with Google Chrome. It's working fine, right? So you can see these are the original size of the images, right? So not all of them are not in the same size. Let's do some code in here. Let's make all the images same height and width, right? So we will give all the images 300 pixels width. So that way I can put all the images like that, right? 300 pixels. Now, if you want the images, all of them to be center, you can use div dot add box. You can give a width. Let's give something like 1000. Then say margin auto. So that will be center aligning, right? So okay, we will have it like that, right? I'm not going to do much to that. Just I want the images in the center. You know what to do, right? Okay. So when you want to work with the images opacity, this is the property that you're going to work. This is the proper place we are learning. Previously, we just did it. Opacity, when you want, you just give opacity and you can give a value. Okay. When you give a value like 1, it resembles 100%. So if I refresh this, you can say everything is like that, right? Okay. So if you give like just give a dot, then give a number, something like 5, which resembles 50%. Okay, so you need to remember that resembles 50%. And so if you the higher the number, more visible the image is, right? So this is closer to the original one, right? So I'll keep it something like 30%. So it's like that. And when the mouse pointer comes over, we can change the quality of that, right? So we'll say img, you know what to do, right? Hover means once the mouse pointer comes over, you can again put opacity and you can say 1, right? So when you refresh, so when the mouse pointer comes, it changes like this, right? So if there is a small transition, that means a small delay is there in this one, it might look nice. So let's see whether we can do that. In order to introduce the delay inside the image img, you give transition, and you give all the time. It could be background, border, foreground color, everything. The transition at once it will happen. I'm going to give transition all, then I'll give a time for that also. Transition will take place half a second, like this. Dot 5s you give, right? So now when you reload that, so there's the tiny effect is there. Whether I don't know whether it's very clear through this zoom, but that is what's happening very nicely with the image gallery. You can do this, right? Okay, nice. So that is about what do you call, that's about the this part, right? So you can quickly practice this. You can put one image and you can practice these two. You just put one image, then you can practice these two tags and you can finish it off. Then you can let me know, we can proceed from there. There's one more thing I'm going to teach you today. Okay, one small addition part I did. You can see border radius we gave 50%. When you give 50%, top, right, bottom, left, all the corners or the radius border is going to get like this 50%. So uh, when you're using an image which is square shape like this, width and height same value, which means square shape, and if you set the border radius to 50%, it's going to give you an effect like your picture is going to be circle like this. I don't have real square images. If I had, these images would look much neat and much interesting in this kind of an effect. Okay. Okay. So the next part, we're going to take a look at how the floats works. Okay. So important part. I'm going to build a simple page which will have some content in it, and we will practically make use of this and see how it's working actually. Okay. All right. Let's do like this. We'll have a div. Okay. So this one I'm going to call this one as a, let's say, news box. Right. So inside that I'm going to have, send you, let's say box one, or just let's say box. Each box will have something like a heading. Let's say heading 3, and a paragraph and a button. Okay, right. So let's make a button like this. Ahref. Then we're going to put, we can create direct buttons also. So I'm going to say read more. It's a read more button. It's another button I'm going to do. Let's say back button. So let's take a look. I want to duplicate this one two times, right? So there will be two boxes inside this, right? Okay, now see that. Right, this is the rough look of this, right? Let's take control of that now. Adding my CSS code. First of all, we'll add div for the news box. So let's make that news box a little bit big. So we got just two of them. That doesn't matter. So we will give like width 960px, margin auto. Right. So things will come in the center. One more thing, the font we will set it to. Font family will set it to sans serif. I'm not using anything new. Still the lesson didn't come yet. Okay. After doing so, it looks like this. Now I want to have two columns, right? So let's do that one now. Div dot news box. Inside that you have div dot box. You can directly code like this also if you like. I like to code like that to show that it is inside this one. If you like, you can directly code like this also. That is fine. As long as you want, you can do it. Okay, so the first thing I do is I make this one visibility hidden tag. I reload and check whether my code is working. Now you can see it's working. It's disappearing. So I'm sure my code will work if I write. Each one I'm going to set a width of 400 pixels. Box sizing, I'm going to say border box. Right, so each one is going to be like that. So two of them are displayed like that. Now, you know, though they are displayed one next to other, right? So let's give a background color. Background color, I'll give a visible color so it's easy for you to see. It's much visible now. Okay, right. Now I'm going to say display inline block. inline block. So when you do like that, it will come and attach like this next to that. But it doesn't solve the problem of that default gap, right? So what we do is, instead of this one, we can say float. When you say float, it comes and gets attached to the component what is on top of it, and if there is space left to that, it will nice and come and attach, right, like this. Float you can give left. Now see, now let's say this one, heading 1 here, heading 2 here, right? Let's say this is heading 1, heading 2, right? Okay, now watch this. When you say float right, left and right, you can do, you can see heading 1 is this side, so it is starting from this side and starting to float the other side. I hope you understand, right? So it's keep the component in one place. When there is space left to next, the other component come here. So whether it is going to come from like this, or whether it's going to come like this to this side. So is it going to come from right to left or left to right is what we're going to give from float, right? Okay, for we can attach it to one side, and when there is space left to the component, we can nicely make use of that one. That's one thing we are making use of it. So they are too close to each other. So I'm going to use, we can make use of our coding knowledge. So I'm going to say first child should have a margin right, let's say 40 px. Okay, so the problem is the margin is setting here because we are floating to right, we have to float to left. So you can see that gap. You can play around with these values and understand it well, right? Okay, that is the basic idea I did. Now I'm going to format this one a little bit nicely. So yellow, green, I'm going to I'm going to use a color which will be visible, I guess. It's a very light ash color I'm using. I'll use something like that so it's visible to you, right? Okay, that's somewhat visible to you. Now we're going to work with these buttons also. So we can use, if inside a link, if a button comes, how to format it, right? I'm going to say with 120px, height, let's say 40px. So buttons are becoming large, right? Now you can say border, I'm going to say none. So that flat look we can take, right? Okay. We can use this button, class readmo. This one you can say class back, right? So buttons are there, right? So commonly they will have this appearance, right? Now I can further format that. I can use the class read more button will appear. Background color, let's say background color, this one. Only one is getting affected, so we will put this class here. Yeah, this one I didn't put for other one, right? That is the reason.
So you copied the code where you didn't put the class.
That's so. Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you. Cool. Thanks a lot. Right now, maroon seems too dull. Okay, right. So let's put that's more visible. Right. So that's more visible. You can nicely do that, right? Then you can put the other button as well. If you want a different color, so two colors, right? So, and even these buttons, you can float them. Okay, let's say float right. See, one button is that side, default float is left. So you can play around with these values, right? So let's say I put the other one also, float right, then I can have both attached to this side, right? Then say the back buttons right side, back buttons right side margin, I want 25 pixels. So here I can say margin right, not left, okay? Margin right, 25 px. So I'm going to have a gap here. That is how you learn, and that is how you practice it, okay? So it's very simple to work with them. So you can beautifully design things and it'll look very neat and it'll look very nice, right? Hope you understood this. So it's taking that effect, how it should come, right? So you'd have seen these things in real websites, how to make sure. It's pretty simple to do, like, okay? And I'll show you if you like a button. uh, Background color you want to keep transparent, but you want border color this is also possible, right? So that's also possible. You'd have seen these things. That's what I'm showing you. Everything that we have learned, that's what I'm using, right? So once the mouse pointer comes, it turns like that. So if you want like see, that's also, it's not that good, right? With the border you can do. So you can play around with the values. I didn't do anything new. All these things you have already learned. I'm just using them in a collection like. Now, the thing that we actually learned is float. So what is float? We can either float the elements to left or right side as long as space is left, we can do that. And if you say left float, components will start adding up from left side to right side, one after the other, and there will be no margins at all next to each component. You have to manually give the margins and you can push them to the other side. You can keep on pushing as long as there is space left, and when there is no space left, it will start going down. Okay, right? So we will make use of these things in a template building, which we will do it in a separate class. Okay, I'll give you 2-3 minutes for you to practice this now. Anyways, I will give you the code also to save some time. Then we will wind up the session for the morning part, and afternoon we will again meet for the assignment discussion. Okay, right? Okay, right. I'll post the video now. Thank you very much for your time, and see you in another video.